Hello and welcome to Tapping Tuesday. My name is Fable, and for the next hour, we are going to do EFT together. Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. I'll explain everything in just a moment. If it is not your first time here, welcome back. We're so excited all of you are here today. Now, the way this hour is going to unwind is just went completely blank. Let me start with what EFT is. EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. Now, here on this channel, we do clinical EFT, which just means there are 48 EFT techniques that have been clinically tested and verified and published in scientifically verified journals. Which just means that there's consistency. There's consistency in the application and in the outcome. EFT is a deceptively simple technique. It's very easy to pick up, but it can be more nuanced and complicated the deeper you get into it to have consistent results. So clinical EFT is just an additional, pretty big, important layer to those deeper, consistent results, especially if you are attempting this on your own, which is what I'm teaching you here. However, we do have clinically certified EFT practitioners if you would like some help. Alrighty, the way that we're going to roll this out today is we have a live chat where you can contribute at any time, anything that's on your mind. So EFT works for overwhelm, trauma, but it doesn't have to be like the biggest things that you're facing in your life. It could be, here's a pet peeve of mine. Here's an issue I'm having in my physical body. Any and all of it is tappable because what we're doing is we're bringing balance back to our bodies, and that is going to help everything. I do my very best to incorporate all the suggestions that I can and to combine suggestions when they're close enough in the same category. And then I also show you how you can make them more individualized to yourself should you choose to. Now, one thing that's different than most EFT sessions, if you've ever had one where you're face to face with someone, is that we go through all of the tapping spots and there's a lot of back and forth. This is a little more difficult of a platform to do that. So, what I tend to do is make myself very boring. I will stay on either this tapping point, sometimes I go here on the chest, but that's about it. And the reason I do that is because I want you to be involved in this as your own process. I want you to feel empowered. I want you to become absorbed in what's happening in your body. And if you're constantly looking up to see, did I move? Am I behind? Then that kind of disrupts the flow that I'm intending for you most to have today. Now, if you feel lost about where to tap, then of course, look at me and I got your back. I'll always help you have a place to go if you get a little bit lost in what you're trying on your own. If there's something that you want to tap on, but it's just too private, too emotional for you to put out on the internet, you can always email me. My email is fable@eftuniverse.com. I won't be able to bring it up until the following week because I'm not checking my email during our time together, but I can bring it up anonymously the next week. Also, if you have any questions about EFT or something that we do today that I don't verbalize during our session, please feel free to email me. I am here as a resource for you because at EFT Universe, we want you to feel empowered and independent and free. So let's see. I think I got everything. If I forgot something, let me know if you need a clarification. Otherwise, I'm going to say hello. See, my pant leg. Hold on. There we go. I'll say hello in the chat. We'll get grounded for a quick moment, and then we'll get right into the tapping. Let's see. Hi, Marianne. I'm sorry you had a terrible time signing in. I'm glad that you're here now. It does look like everything finally came through for you. Hi, Nancy. So glad you're here. Hi, Mary. Okay, my request is for anxiety and nervousness. Okay, thank you for that, Mary. Mama Hutch, hello. Hope you remembered someone over Memorial Day. A proud gold star, Mama. Oh, well, I hope that you had a wonderful Memorial Day, Mama Hutch. Hi, Trisha. Hi, Lauren. Oh, very sweet to Mama H. Hi, Tanya. Glad that you're here. Okay, and Trisha says yes to anxiety and nervousness. Okay, and about making the right decision. Oh, I hear that so deep in my heart. Like I understand that. That's a great suggestion to add on to that. Hi, Dr. Scott. I'm glad that you're here too. Zarina, oh, you're not late. Not at all. You're right on time. And Nancy, I'm on an oncology team that treats me as an illness and not as a human. I've spoken up to them about this, but their training overrides everything. How to rise above this for myself? Thank you. Absolutely. And I have an idea for that. And hi, John. Glad to have you here. Okay. And I'm just going to speak this just in case I forget later on. But Nancy, um, I would say what doesn't help if you think of it like if you had a friend and you and this friend were sitting there talking, and then that friend stepped on a piece of glass, and now your friend has a piece of glass in their heel. Um, all of the surrounding pleasantry is going to be funneled down into, oh no, let's get this piece of glass out, right? It's going to become a little bit more of a medical type setting, right? First aid type thing. And certainly this is a longer connection. It would be nicer for them to be able to have like a bedside manner for you. Um, but maybe, they're not capable. Maybe it's their training. Maybe it's their facility. And I had a really good way to phrase it. Now it's already kind of gone. Um, it's not that they're refusing to see you as a whole person, but it's a prioritization of you as a person, and their level of care that they have for you as a person is that they want to get that piece of glass out first, and maybe they feel really cold and that doesn't quite relate, but if there's a way to tell your brain that the way that they are approaching you is a way for them to tell you that they care. Does that make sense? Let me know if that helps or not. If not, then because I don't want to tap on it wrong. If that's a poor way for you to see it, like if it doesn't click. Let's see. Mama Hut, medical folks on autopilot. I have to bring humor. They cannot always relate. Hello, Stone. I almost said STEM because I was looking at Stone Gem. Hi, Stone. Need help with constant overwhelm and fury and feeling of helplessness at political and environmental situations around the globe. Yeah, that's a big one. I would say we kind of tap on that in some format or another. We've been doing that for a while, so I'm glad that you're here. Hi, Ellie. I'm glad that you're here. Okay, and Nancy, it makes sense. Okay, perfect. And I'll throw that in somewhere. And request is to alleviate overwhelming responsibility. Okay, so I am hearing quite a bit for like overwhelm, anxiety, big emotions, right? And big responsive emotions, like reactions to something that's actively happening and maybe doesn't have a clear pathway to a resolution. Is that fair? Let's go ahead and get grounded and then let's get tapping on it. Okay. For grounding today, let's go ahead and take a deep breath. Let it out kind of fast. Huff it out. Let's do it again. Really kind of put your shoulders down. And this time, even if you can and it feels good to you, involve your arms. Really like kind of bring them up and then throw them down when we huff out. Okay, ready? Breathe in. Okay, let's do that one more time to whatever degree feels good for you. Okay, breathe in. Okay, now just relax your body. Breathe normally. And as you're breathing, let's go ahead and just start to rock. And you can rock in whatever way feels good. You can rock side to side, forward and back, in circles. If rocking your body at like your trunk, your core does not feel good, you can maybe rock your hands side to side or your head. It doesn't have to be your whole body. We're just trying to get a little bit of a sway. It's a little bit of a fluid rhythm. And as you're creating this fluid rhythm, I want you to notice where you feel this happening in your body. Where do you notice it affecting? Even if you're just moving your hands or your head, Do you notice it responding down through your feet? Do you notice your shoulders, your back, your belly button, your elbows, your knees, your ankles? Now, if you notice spots where this sway is not necessarily affecting, could you kind of pull that energy into that space? Allow it to flow down. What if this sway is just the mode of your energy, just for right now? Maybe you're still angry, maybe you're still anxious, maybe you're still in overwhelm, but existing at the same time, it's just this sway. Let's go ahead and take a breath and out. You can keep swaying if you would like, but I'm going to stop. Okay. Oh, Mama Hutch, I think I could fall asleep as I rock. Good, good, because that's where wanting to engage our calm, calm side of our nervous system. Okay, and I'll read what Karen wrote, and then we'll get to tapping. Last 48 hours, Parkinson's husband added injured shoulder to limitations. I've added screaming knee pain to mine. Neither of us can now drive. We both may need to leave. That's a lot to deal with, Karen. I'm so sorry. And not having the independence to drive affects so many other things. I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope that you've sought out that knee in your pain, like as some sort of relief for yourself if it, had some damage associated with it. I think tapping on overwhelm could help just with the overwhelming reality of all of that. I'm gonna try to think of how else we could apply tapping for you. Alrighty, let's go ahead and start tapping while we talk. Now, as you focus in on where you want to begin, depending on where you are in overwhelm, it may be too big already, and that's okay. If it is too big, the first thing we're going to do is back away from it. And this is a clinical EFT technique. What we want first is to feel empowerment. So, to make it manageable to look at, whether you imagine it shrinking so that you can find the edges of it, transporting it to a different planet, transporting yourself to a different planet, putting it inside of a box, putting yourself inside of a force field, finding a way to get some distance between you and this overwhelm so that it feels approachable and manageable, even if it's just for right now. Let's go ahead and take a breath. As I look for a way to make this overwhelm manageable, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even if I'm struggling with this overwhelm and all I want to do is react, I still choose to deeply and completely accept myself. Even though right now I just don't know what I care about on the other side of this overwhelm, I still choose to deeply and completely accept myself. this overwhelm. Okay, I want to go ahead and switch to the 9 gamut. So if you don't know what that is, just follow along with me. Instead of tapping here, we're going to slide right in between these two finger bones, right in between these two knuckles, and then just beyond them. So if you make a fist, you go over those bones and right in that little divot right there. And you can line your fingertips up so that you're sure you're getting that point. That's the space we're going to tap. Now we're going to include an eye motion. If you imagine your nose being the middle of a clock, we're going to take our eyes and draw a circle around our periphery. And we're going to do this slowly, okay? And it's possible you'll feel a little bit of muscle tension, in your eyeballs. That's normal. You may feel a little bit dizzy. That's also normal. If you feel those things, it is okay for you to slow down, for you to stop. You could just look up and down instead, or side to side instead. Okay, I don't ever want you to feel like it's too much or creating a sensation that you don't want to deal with. Okay, so go ahead and keeping your nose straight forward, look straight up at 12 o'clock and choose a direction. It doesn't matter which direction, we'll go in both. And just start slowly rotating your eyes on the edges of your periphery. This overwhelm, this overwhelm in my body. This overwhelm taking over my body. This overwhelm in my mind. This overwhelm taking over my mind. Okay, wherever you are in your circle, go ahead and pause and then slowly start to circle the other direction. This overwhelm in my life. This overwhelm taking over my life. This overwhelm, my big feelings. This overwhelm, big feelings in my body. This overwhelm, release. This overwhelm, release. Okay, go ahead and close your eyes, relax them, and find a spot, open up your eyes, and just kind of let your eyes recalibrate. You can move them around. Let's go ahead and switch back to our normal tapping spot. Let's take a deep breath. This overwhelm is so big. It's big in my body. It's big in my environment. And I'm tired. I'm haggard. I don't want to try to deal with it anymore. I don't know that I believe I can succeed against it. Maybe I feel really helpless right now. Maybe it feels really pointless for me to keep trying. Why should I keep trying? It hurts. It makes me angry. It's frustrating. It takes up so much energy. I give myself permission to express all of my emotions, even if I think some of them are bad, even if I think some of them are wrong, even if I'm afraid if anybody else knew that I felt these things, they would really judge me. I give myself permission right now to have them anyway, to express them anyway. They're here. Might as well acknowledge them. I wonder, what does this mean about me? All of these things that I feel, all of these things that I think. Does it mean that I have failed? Does it mean that I should give up? Does it mean I'm a horrible person? As I ask myself these really hard questions, I deeply and completely accept myself. I wonder, what system of measurement am I using for this? And am I asking these questions in a way to benefit my efforts or to judge myself because it's not how I want it to be? Am I asking questions to try and be helpful? Or is this a way for me to ask questions where I'm just shaming myself? Hmm. Even if I'm discovering that what I'm actually doing is adding to my own pain, I deeply and completely accept myself. I wonder, how do I not add to my own pain then? If I feel stuck, if I don't have control of all of the aspects, if I'm overwhelmed and it's just going to be overwhelming because it is overwhelming, then what questions can I ask? What answers could possibly help? I wonder. What could actually help? What would actually help right now? Maybe it's really easy for me to think of things like sleeping better or less pain or um, just some free space in my mind that isn't caught up in something heavy. Maybe I'm having a hard time thinking of anything. So maybe it would be helpful if I went even more general. Okay, well, what's more general than this? Well, what's something that helps everything? There's nothing that helps everything. What a ridiculous question. Even if I feel pushback on this question, I hold space to ask it anyway. Well, what is something that helps everything? Is there something that helps everything? As I ask myself this question. I deeply and completely accept myself. I think recognition is helpful, whether it's recognizing a good job or a good try, good effort, or recognizing, yeah, that is hard. Yeah, this is scary. To know that I'm seen and I'm not alone. Okay. Is that it? Is there anything else? What else is generally helpful? Well, biologically speaking, releasing stress. And if I can't release all of the stress, if I can't find a solution for everything, what if I really held strong to something that is stress alleviating for me? Even if what I want to do is scream instead, even if what I want to do is give up instead, even if what I want to do is the opposite. What if I am resolute in soft things? What if I am my strongest in a kind space? Because isn't it true? I don't know what's going to happen next. And I don't know how things are going to continue. But if I can create a space for myself, because maybe I have to do it on my own, maybe I can find some support in some places. But maybe a lot of this does have to come from me. No matter what's out of my control. Isn't it true that this would make what's in my control feel a little bit better? Why would I bother to feel a little bit better? Everything's so miserable. It's not going to matter. It's not going to do anything. That's dumb. Even if part of me is pushing back pretty hard on the validity of something alleviating, I still choose to hold space for it. And it's okay that there are parts of me that are still angry. It's okay that there are parts of me that want everything to be resolved. Of course, I want everything to be resolved. And of course, I have big emotions. And me creating a space for me to have kindness for myself is not saying that those don't get to have a place, because they absolutely do. It is a part of my experience, and all of it deserves a place. But maybe this deserves a place too. And maybe it could have a bigger impact than I could see right now. So maybe I'll give it a try. This overwhelm, giving it a try. This overwhelm, holding space for myself. This overwhelm, solution in my body, because I do get to say what happens in my body and what happens in my mind. And I do have the right to choose to have an oasis, regardless of what's happening outside of me. That will get its own attention. That will get energy put towards it because I don't have another choice. But maybe it's my own little quiet act of rebellion to choose a better place for myself because I can. And as I consider how to apply a stronghold of an oasis for myself within my own body, I deeply and completely accept myself. Pause tapping and take a deep breath. Take just a moment and think about how you felt when you first focused on your overwhelm and how you feel now. And if you feel different, your body feels more calm, more tingly, the overwhelm feels a little bit more distant, a little bit smaller, more manageable. If you were yawning, sighing, crying, giggling, burping, feeling tired, feeling energized, all of those are signs that your brain heard what you were asking and is starting to shift the way you're looking at things so that what you tapped on is being added into the template moving forward. So good job. All right, let me see the comments that came in. To apply tapping to procrastination. Yes, Amanda, you can. So procrastination is interesting because usually it's some form of protection, and not even necessarily self-protection, but also trying to tamper down, like um, not being too big around other people. And procrastination is one of the things that can be applied for that. So I don't know that that's something that we will do today, but if you want to email me, I'm happy to talk with you more on that. Lauren mentioned overwhelming responsibilities. Yes. Hi, Greg. I'm glad you made it. John, oh, thank you for the comments to each other, everyone. Hi, Zahara. Okay, psychosomatic illness. Hopefully, if you were here to have some of that overwhelm tap, that would start to loosen that for you, Zahara. 3 hours of doctor's appointments. Okay. Okay, good, good, good. All right. Oh, I love you guys so much. I love how much support that you have in each other. Amanda, my email is up at the top of the chat, so you can scroll up to get it. It's fable@eftuniverse.com. Hi, Lou. Okay, and good. I'm glad the tap was nice for you, Tanya. Okay, let's get into the second. I have a question for all of you. Sometimes I talk about like going into a happy place, that doesn't physically exist outside. And I'm just curious, do you know how to create that for yourself? Because if you don't, then that's something that we can tap on and I can show you how to kind of create that. It is through visualization. So if visualization is difficult for you or recalling a memory, then this particular technique wouldn't work as well. But the reason having kind of like a fantasy or a memory place to go back into and really encompass that into where you presently are, is your body will respond chemically and biologically to you being in that place, right? And then that can help give you some of that relief that you're after if you can't find it in your immediate environment, and will help give you that nervous system reset that otherwise you can't find. And uh, some people are tempted to call that like delusional. And the reason it's not delusional is because you don't think that's where you actually live, right? You know your body is where your body is. And it is not delusional for you to give your mind, your body a message and say, hey, we need some help to calm down, right? So here's a beautiful imagery of a way for you to do that. Here's an environment where we can have all these happy chemicals instead. You're just communicating with your subconscious brain in a way that it can receive it. Okay. And that's not delusional for you to do that. Daydreaming, beautiful way for you to manage overwhelm and stress when there's not another way to do it. Okay. Let's see. I need a happy place. Visualization isn't easy. Okay, Serena, email me on that and let's troubleshoot that one on one. See. Let's do like a 5 minute. This will be quicker. Normally you can spend more time, but I can tell you how to spend more time. I just want to give you a framework for it. I just feel like that could be really helpful. So go ahead and start tapping. And usually with EFT, we do not close the eyes. And the reason for that is because we want there to be conflicting information. Usually when we tap and we're talking about what we're recalling, it's really unpleasant, right? And so we want our eyes to be open for our brain to be able to go, oh, but that's not what I'm seeing right now. But now we want to see what we're talking about. Okay, so this is an instance where you can close your eyes and it will be more beneficial to do so. So I'm just going to stay tapping on the hand point. You can go ahead and close your eyes. And what I would like for you to do is picture the most calming scenario that you can imagine. And it doesn't have to be practical, it doesn't have to be a place you've been before. It can be, it absolutely can be. It could be this magical, beautiful cave at the bottom of the ocean. It could be on a distant planet that humankind hasn't discovered yet. That's made of just crystal and magic. It could be in the middle of a rainbow, but it's a place that you have discovered and nobody else knows of. Nobody else could find it if they tried. This is a place for you and you are 100% safe in this place. And as you start to formulate this place, really gather information. So ask yourself, what temperature is it? What time of year is it? What time of day is it right now? What smells are there? Are there plants that you're smelling? What sights are there? Are you inside? Are you outside? How far can you see? What is, if you turned around in a circle, do you see different scenery? Do you hear anything? What sounds, what beautiful calming sounds are there? Is there music? Is there a wind chime? Is there an animal? What are you feeling? Are you walking barefoot? Are you stepping on something that's just really lovely for your feet to feel? What clothing are you wearing there? What is just really soothing that you're feeling on your skin? Maybe a warmth of a sun or just the warm temperature or a nice, cool, soothing something. So, really invite all of your sensory organs to be a part of this place. And as you're noticing all of these things, notice the healing energy that this space is offering to you in every way. All of it just seems to be acknowledging your presence, loving that you're here, and wanting to replenish you. And while you're here in this area, you can do whatever you need. You can lie down and just relax. You can walk around and explore. You can invite other people to be there with you if you want. You've got a loved one that you want to talk to, whether they're past or still present. You can tell someone off if you want to. You could create a space where they wouldn't have access to you, but they're still like in this locked elevator or something where you could express some emotions, get some things out that otherwise you have to hold in. This is a place of healing for you where anything and everything can manifest to feed you and nurture you. And whenever you're ready to come back into your body, into the present moment, you just close your eyes in that place and know that it's safe and that you can get back anytime you want and that nobody can get there without your permission. And feel yourself drawn back into the present moment where you are tapping in your room, and go ahead and open your eyes. I'll go ahead and stop tapping and take a deep breath. And you can play around with all the different aspects and elements of that. So I hope that that gives you a beginning foundation of what a safe place can look like. And you can create as many as you would like, and they could all have different purposes. But that is a way for you to talk to your subconscious brain in a very literal sense in order for it to have permission to change your environment inside of your body in a true chemical sense to feel better right away. Okay. Such a cool thing to do. Sunrises and sunsets. Yes, I love those too. Alrighty. I know we have a few other things going through the chat. Didn't really do making right decisions. I would say that wasn't really involved. Procrastination, those two kind of go hand in hand. To psychosomatic illness. Okay, let's do I want to approach this. Let's go ahead and tap while I'm thinking. I want to approach this in a way that we haven't yet. Something along the lines of like mind process body outcome of because procrastination typically doesn't start in the physical body, right? It starts with something that we're thinking, even if we don't know exactly what we're thinking. And wanting to get it right also tends to have a physical outcome from an inward beginning point, right? I have a fear of getting it wrong. I have a big desire to get it right. And so I freeze because I'm not quite sure how to do that yet, right? Um, and so many other things could be involved in this too. If you don't quite have those things, but my age, my ailment, my circumstance of where I'm living right now, or how the weather is, all the pollen, in the air, whatever it is, I'm aware of it and I feel the outcome in my body. Okay. I think that's the verbiage I'm going to use. As I'm aware of this thing, I feel the outcome in my body, right? So go ahead and focus in on what it is that you're aware of in your mind and therefore feel the outcome in your body. Here we go. As I consider this thing that I think about, that I'm very aware of in my mind, I allow myself to become aware of how it is affecting my physical body. As I consider how deep reaching this thought is, I am open to the possibilities of how deep reaching it also is to my physical environment. As I consider the impact of this thing that I think about on my physical body, I deeply and completely accept myself. No, that doesn't make sense. It can't have that big of an impact. That's ridiculous. The brain does not have that much impact on the body. People who think that way are just silly. It's just silly science. It's not real. They use jaded values. No matter how much I think about something, it's not true that it has an impact on my physical body. Even if there are parts of me that 100% agree with those statements, I choose right now to be open to the thought of it. Isn't that true that that's how I affect my body all the time? I mean, isn't that how I move my body? Isn't that how I speak? Isn't that how I look around? Isn't that how I accomplish this connection with my body? Hmm. Okay. As I consider where there could be truth in this statement, I choose to be open to these possibilities. Well, I wonder how how does it work when I decide I want to walk into the next room? Because I don't command my muscles to flex. I just flex them. And I don't even think about which muscles I'm flexing or how much to flex each muscle. It's not like it's a guess every single time. It's not like sometimes I flex way too hard and I pitch over. Or sometimes I don't flex nearly enough and I try, but I don't quite stand. Hmm, there must be other parts of me that are involved in this process that I don't have to think about. I ask and offer just this one little part and the rest works with me at it. Hmm, okay. Well, as I consider how my body works, I wonder, how does that work as far as my mind goes? I know that I would like for it to work differently than it currently does. So, why then does it work the way that it does now? Is it because somewhere in my life I learned this is how you think? This is how it is proper to think about these things. Well, who would have taught me that? I wonder who in my life would have taught me that I needed to stress. I need to stress about getting everything right because it's shameful to get it wrong or deserving of judgment or rejection if I get it wrong. Who would have taught me that? Or who would have taught me that it's wrong for me to accomplish things as quickly or as easily or as magnificently that I could if I just gave myself permission. So therefore, I I choose to have a hard time so that they're right because I want to honor them because I care what they think. Hmm. As I consider how maybe the way that I think does actually have an impact, I deeply and completely accept myself. And I wonder, does it feel safe to change that? Is it okay to change that? Yes. No. I don't know. Whether or not I feel right now that it's okay for me to change this, I deeply and completely accept myself. I have been functioning this way for a long time. And when I started functioning this way, I had a really good reason for it. Maybe it was because I didn't have any other tools or any other input. Maybe I didn't have any other choice. But that was a long time ago. And maybe it's okay for it to be safe now. Maybe a different choice would not have been safe or it would not have worked before. But that was a long time ago. And I succeeded with what I had. And I made it to here, to now. And now is different than before. Now, maybe I do have choice. Now, maybe I do have safety. Ooh, that sounds exciting. But how do I know? How can I test that? Well, maybe I start with where all of it has started, which is in my mind, where I make choices. Even if I've been given input in the past that was not mine and did not start inside my own mind, I could choose differently now. But what would I choose? Hmm. Choosing my mind, choosing, choosing for myself, choosing for my body, maybe I choose something small that feels really doable. I mean, almost too easy, just to see how it'll go. Maybe I choose a nice nickname for myself so that as I come up against something hard, as something doesn't go the way that I want it to, even if it's my fault that it didn't go the way that I wanted it to, I'm saying something kind to myself. Hmm, but what could that do? Well, maybe it would make it easier to try again, easier to think about why it didn't work the first time. Maybe it would feel safe. And what if I did feel safe as I tried? What if I didn't have to wait and clutch and clench and hope that I get to feel safe because I did a good enough job at the end? What if I did feel safe as I tried? Feeling safe, feeling safe in my mind, feeling safe in my body, feeling safe as I try, feeling safe as I think, feeling safe as I wonder, feeling safe as I plan, feeling safe as I fail. What? Nobody's safe when they fail. It's like the worst ever. Even if part of me feels like failing is not safe, I'm open to rewriting that statement. Maybe all I call it is I tried, and I look forward to trying again. And I call myself that beautiful name, that kind name, and I focus on what I want. What could that be like? And maybe this helps. Maybe it's an immediate success towards figuring out my procrastination or my fear of getting it right or getting it wrong, or towards all of these feelings I might have in my body that I don't want. Maybe I'm immediately better. Maybe, maybe it's a little bit more hard. And I just have a really beautiful name that I can say to myself and go, what is happening right now? Maybe it takes a little bit more of things falling apart. But isn't it true that even if what happens is things fall apart a little bit more, it still feels better and safer and more possible for me to try again if I hold a safe place in my body. My safe place, my mind. And as I continue to seek my outcome, I choose to hold space for the beginning point that I want. And I deeply and completely accept myself. Pause tapping, take a deep breath. I'm sorry if you're hearing my garden. I have an indoor garden. I feel like it's so loud right now as it's watering itself. That's what that is. Take a moment and just notice how you're feeling. How does your body feel now versus when we began that tap? Are you having signs of releasing, signs of awakenings, of epiphanies? If so, good job. Something that you thought or that you said that you tapped on, your brain agrees with and is upgrading that template and will continue to build those connections even though you're no longer tapping. So excellent work. All right, and we are at time, but I am going to check the compliments. Compliments, geez. Don't know where that came from. Comments. One more time, but I promise I'm not asking for compliments. Comments one more time. We were never safe. Yep. That used to be how parenting was, wasn't it? So hopefully you're able to feel differently for yourself now. Oh, Stone, I'm so glad. Just making sure there's no lingering questions. Overwhelm gone? Yay, Tanya, that's huge. All righty. Thank you so much for being here with me this week. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend. I hope that you feel better now. I hope you feel seen and heard and cared for. This community really wants you. And we're really glad that every single one of you are here. And I have so much love for you. I'll be thinking about you. I hope I get to see you next week, but if not, the recording will always be here, and you can always reach me by email if you have any questions. A lot of times your questions, our conversations privately end up being what video I make on Friday. So always thank you for being here and all of your contributions. Mwah. Have a wonderful space of time, and I'll see you when I see you.